Hello, hello. It is 9 o'clock. This is Shy, owner of Healing for Her LLC. And if you do not know what you are joining, it is Ladies Let's Talk. So I'm going to give a chance for some people to come in and also get our special guest on and to be able to share this right now to my group. Share it in the group. And we are going to go ahead and get started. And there we go. So right now I'm going to go ahead and bring on tonight's co-host. This is about to be fun. He will be popping in a second. And
Hey.
And there she is.
Hey.
So, again, I am Shy, owner of Feeling for Her LLC. And she
I'm
reminded
Elise.
me this has been a year in the making.
Maybe more. So I'm gonna say a year, but it might have been more than a year.
and and this is my co-host, Miss Elise.
Hey.
And, so tonight we are doing a social media edition of Ladies Let's Talk. If you followed, I believe it was last month, I did an actual event, Ladies Let's Talk. And of course, like that went over. I was like, okay, next time I need to make it a little bit longer. So the social media piece is just great because sometimes you just can't make it, but you still want to be a part of something. So we're going to do some short intros and then we'll go ahead and get started. Again, I got my little notepad. So you may hear a question that you have asked me or whatever. You asked it, somebody else may have the same question. So, um, backdrop. I know Elise because she is blood. That is my cousin. Um, but as we, got older and matured, we formed, an adult bond. And what caught my attention is I was just watching her growth on social media. You can, you see what people post, you see them in real life and stuff like that. And I had just been watching her growth for a while and finally just sent out a message like, man, I've been watching you. And um, I draw to people that are real and don't have a problem with pulling down some walls, even if they're scared to do it. So she had shared, some of her story on social media, which is, common, but you just don't hear a lot about it. So, um, timing is everything, and this is the perfect time. So, that is how I know Elise. I'll let her go ahead and give, some more information about herself. But get ready, ladies.
Hey, okay. So I'm Elise. I am Shy's cousin since birth. She was just talking about just my journey, and I started off being very vocal about 3 years ago about not being happy and why I wasn't happy, and just joining the journey of expressing the steps that I need to take. So I've decided to just put on social media. We put everything else on social media. Not
Mhm.
Why not put something real out there so
Right.
somebody that's going through it can at least be like, I'm not alone, or what, I'm conscious enough to express that I'm not feeling 100%, or I'm not who I think I am, or who everyone think I should be.
Right.
And I started getting a lot of feedback, mostly through DMs, and they're like, what, I've been feeling this way. I thought this was happening, and I just thought I was crazy, like I was the only one going through something. I'm like, everybody going through something. There's
Right.
not one person in the world that ain't got nothing, whether you
Exactly.
rich, poor, anything, you going through something in life.
That
So
part.
I want to be honest. I don't want you to see me smiling on social media and thinking that's just what my life is. I have a lot to share and I have a lot to celebrate, but I didn't get that way by just smiling. I have to work on it. You know, marriage I have to work on, babies I have to work
Doing the
on,
work,
you know.
doing the work.
Yeah, so working on it. And then when you popped up with you kept telling me you had something you was working on, but you would tell me what you was working on. You was working on it. So I'm like, okay, we finally put it up. I'm like, okay, all right, I gotta
Yeah.
watch this.
Yeah. So I love that, just being authentic, true, and honest. And again, like she shared her story, and people were already waiting, and able to identify. Um, so again, tonight is another rendition of Ladies Let's Talk, and it's simply just that, talking and sharing. We hear other women's story and get empowered or gain clarity. Um, and I've been talking about being in the moment. So one of my favorite stores since we bought our house has been Home Depot. And lo and behold, the lady that befriended us because I was going so often, is um, my husband's coworker. And so, not knowing that there was a connection in the background, but we just began to bond and stuff like that. And so, we ran into her recently, and I'm looking at her because I'm in the moment. I asked her, how she's doing, and she told me she's okay, but I could tell that she's not. And she shared some very personal stuff with me. And this lady is old enough to, um, I say, be a older aunt. Probably not my mom, unless she had me pretty young, but like an older aunt. And I told her, she's like, what you been working on? I tell her, and she's like, oh, I need to come. And just the fact that I was just transparent with her. Again, this is an older woman. And she's like, the next time, you do something, give me a call, and all that. And that's why I talk about being in the moment and being mindful. Like you could be at the store, you could be at the gas station, you never know who you're supposed to connect to.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was just awesome sauce. And so it was just also, just another testament to how sharing our stories bridges us,
Yeah.
because so much we see in social media, we're
Yeah.
against each other, we're hating, the light against the brown in our
Mm-hmm.
own community, and the stuff that's going on within other races and cultures. But at the end of the day, there's something that we all identify with, and race and culture has nothing to do with it. It's just simply being a human being.
Yeah. I call it signs. You know you're doing something right. Like it was one of these days I was having a meeting with a couple of people that I having stuff coming up with, and it was this lady. She wasn't in our conversation. She waited until our whole meeting. Mind you, it was at a playground because I was with my kid. She waited for our whole meeting to end, and she was all like, "I don't mean to interrupt, but," and she started telling us what she did, and how she can benefit us. And if we would have just shunned her off, like, why is she in our business, or why is she
Right,
here, like,
right.
we would have missed that opportunity just to connect with a person, handed out. So definitely stand in the moment and exchange. I would say exchanging energy with people around you is
That's
important.
it. Yes, it
Yeah.
is. So, um, some of y'all have verbally asked questions, and I took the time to write them down. And I just went off just some of the posts that I see on social media. So, um, one thing I didn't think it would affect me, of course, recently right now everybody is talking about, Nipsey,
Mhm.
and like when I follow this one blogger, she's like the Black TMZ. So when she
Mhm.
posted it, and they were like, he's still alive, and I was just like, he's not gonna make it. And although we've lost other people, of course, people are in, depending on what your, level that you have people in. But um, I was sharing with my husband last night. It really bothered me, and it
Yeah.
took me off guard because it's,
Yeah.
I don't know one song he has out, but the first thing I thought about was another Black man, another father, another son, another brother. We all, majority of us know his girlfriend. Just
Mhm.
the thought, like, what I'm saying? And those of us that are with our partners It's just like I don't even want, to even imagine or think. And so I was just bothered. So I'm processing a little bit, and I was just like, it's not. I was like, it's us, but it's not us. And then
Yeah.
I was like, when do we wake up? We
Yeah.
talk about reparations. We talking about being held down by the man, but when do we wake up and take responsibility? I've lived in California all of my life. Where is there a complex black owned? Where is there? I mean, we do all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know. If they right now, the Latin community, I know they're different. They're not all the same. Like we say, we're not the same as Africans and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
if they were to, whatever the crazy man in office is trying to do, get
Uh-huh.
rid of them, they do something significant in our culture.
Oh yeah.
So if they were not there, we would feel that. But
Yeah.
if we were not there, who would feel us? Who would feel us?
Everyone actually. If we think about it and be really honest with ourselves, we are the backbone to this nation. Just bluntly said about that.
We influence, but what do
We
we have to show?
we don't, because we allow other people to take what we could take for ourselves.
Exactly.
Mostly I'm gonna say it's ignorance. Well, it's a lot of programs. It's a lot of things out there for you to take advantage of. But people be like, well, I don't want to do that. It's gonna make me look a certain way. It's gonna do it. Am I gonna get money off it real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's just thinking of that initial gain, and they're not thinking about what can happen
Right.
in the long
The
run.
longevity.
Well, if it ain't making me no money, why am I investing when I can't get that money up front?
Right.
But who's actually educating on you about the advantage of, if you invest now, you get a lot
Right.
later. Who's telling you like, nah, don't get that money right now, wait for it? Or who's educating people about it, black people about it? And it's like, no,
Right.
you have to wait until you start seeing it for yourself, or you start um getting out of your circle and experiencing
Mm-hmm.
things, and you start realizing like, okay, this is not what I thought it was. Or
Right.
I could
Right.
have been doing something a long time ago, but I wasn't doing it because nobody told me to do it. Everybody's not doing something because they waiting for somebody else to
Right.
do it. And I think
Right.
that's what affected everybody about Nipsey Hussle. He was giving you the game. Nobody was listening. Well, everybody was listening, but nobody was taking actual steps.
Right.
And now he's gone. Everybody's like, dang,
Right.
we
Right.
gotta do it. We gotta do this. And I'm like, I actually stopped. I didn't want to post anything about Nipsey Hussle.
Right.
I'd rather do it. I'm
Right.
gonna say a little bit to show respect, but I'd rather actually take the steps or do what he said he was trying to do in the community, instead of just like, oh, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, and then next week you're on to something else
Right.
in
Right.
social media.
Right. So yeah, that's one thing I wanted to talk about, because we never know when our emotions and stuff are going to. I think that was my max with just everything that has been going on. Like it was just like, like really, and not that it's gonna stop, but for me emotionally, from watching and hearing, and it was just like, come on.
Yeah.
So that was my off the just pure moment.
Our Ben.
Uh,
We gotta talk about it.
yesterday. Yeah. Um, did you have a topic that you wanted to start off with?
One of my comments, she said, actually, let's start off with forgiveness. Like, that was what we
Okay.
originally started off with.
Uh-huh.
But I want to know how you felt about forgiveness.
Forgiveness, I put it in my ebook, but I feel like a lot of times the first part of forgiveness that we forget about is ourselves. A lot of times we could tell people, I forgive you, or can you forgive me, but can you forgive yourself? Because sometimes the things that we've gone through and experienced in life, there's shame attached to it. Um, some, dishonor, just, it was, or it felt so bad, how could, even God forgive you? So a lot of times we accept, or, ask for the forgiveness from people, but we still can't get out of the rut because we haven't really forgiven ourselves. And key part to that is you just have to really look at yourself and say, hey, like, you're human. You messed up. You get it.
Yeah.
You've already been forgiven. So are you going to keep standing in this place? Are you going to take the same thing that, you still feel shame about and use that to fuel? Like, use that as a learning stone. Use that to share with someone else. Use it for yourself to, know I don't want to ever feel this again. So let me, as much as I can, be conscious enough not to do it. So for me, I feel like we often miss that key element of forgiving ourselves.
Yeah. That's true. I would say like the forgiveness. It's two parts of forgiveness. It's the physical and the emotional side of
Hmm.
forgiveness. It's like, okay, I forgave. Say for instance, somebody hit you.
Hmm.
Did you forgive that? You forgave them for actually hitting you, or did you forgive them for why they hit you?
Hmm.
Those are two different things you got to talk about, because in order for somebody to actually do something, or in order for you to do something to somebody else, it have to come from a thought. It have to come from
Right.
somewhere, that some type of emotion. So could you
Right.
forgive the intent, and can you actually forgive the emotion part of it? Because some people,
Oh, that makes
they
sense.
can't let go. They can't let go of something because they haven't forgiven it fully. What's the saying? I forgive you, but I won't never
I've,
forget what you
exactly.
said. So if you're
Yeah.
not forgiven fully, then how we gonna move on? Because you still,
Right.
remember, I'm not telling you to act like nothing happened, or
Exactly.
be passive aggressive about it. But you definitely have to um evolve in the
Hmm.
forgiveness terms, and
Yes.
acknowledge your responsibility
Exactly.
within the forgiveness too.
Exactly. So even if you're on the end where they're asking you for forgiveness and you be like she just said, like, oh, I forgive you, but then like 2 weeks later, it comes up and you have those same feelings and emotions, you didn't
Mhm.
forgive that person because it's
Yeah.
taking you right back to that place. So that is
And I think
good.
no matter what type of relationship, whether it's with your significant other, a best friend, or coworker, that just overall it plays out every aspect of your
That's
life.
true.
Like, you can apply it to everything in your life.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. And a lot of times you'll hear me say, just because um, there's probably a new terminology for it now, but I ain't even tripping. I ain't thinking about that. Like, just because you
But
don't
you
want to deal
are.
with something and right now you don't want to give it the energy, it's taking energy from you
Yes.
because you're still feeling it, you're still thinking about it, because the moment
Mhm.
somebody bring up that person, or I ain't fooling with them, yada yada yada, that's energy. That's
And then you got to ask, oh, what happened? Now you're taking the energy to explaining the situation and
exactly.
all this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It, yeah.
So just because you want to save it for a later date, that don't mean you that don't mean you dealt with it.
Yeah. A great segue into this one comment. They said, how do you resolve an issue with your significant other, husband, boyfriend, um, and not go to bed angry? I think
Yeah.
I good word, way of wording it. For lack of word, how do you resolve a issue and not go to bed angry?
Yeah, so growth and maturity. But I I think I was watching because I follow them, Black Love. They do the series
Like,
with the couples.
uh-huh.
Um and and they said it's about understanding, because
Mm-hmm.
they may be right, you may be right, but are y'all both gonna sacrifice not talking to each other just to be right?
Yeah.
So it's more of just understanding, like, okay, in this moment they may have a valid point, I may have one.
Mm-hmm.
um I don't really like that whole agree to disagree, because it's like, what does that mean? Like,
Passive
I'm a black and
aggressive.
white person, so when you give me gray area stuff, I don't know how to function.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm gonna
I've learned and
rationalize
I'm
it.
learning. Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
rationalize it, and it's gonna go in
understanding.
white or black. If you give me gray
So,
area,
and I
I'm gonna
have to
mix.
learn that,
Sorry, go ahead.
right. And so I'm learning everybody is not great. Everyone is not black and white. So it's
Hmm.
like, okay, let me stop thinking you should think how I think.
Yeah.
So you understand why this makes sense. So it really does come down to understanding. And sometimes you just have to take a break. I believe in my home culturally, it was, we're talking about it now. It don't matter if you're mad, you're really bothered. But no one is really hearing each other. So when you learn and grow, it's like
Hmm.
sometimes you may say, you know what, I do want to talk about this, but right now I just need a timeout so I can
Yeah.
just process a little bit more. And so that, when we do discuss it, I'm able to hear you and you're able to hear me.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's just maturity. And
Hmm.
for that, when I heard them explain the understanding, like y'all can both be right, but where's that going to get you at the end of the day? So it's like understanding. And I was like, uh-huh. Now, is that easy? No.
Uh-uh.
But
It's still,
that really gave me some insight.
yeah. I think the most thing is to step outside your ego. I think the ego starts playing a role in some form with the argument. When you
Hmm.
start an argument, the thing is, I'm right. I'm about to tell you why I'm right. Not
Right.
there's an issue that needs to be resolved here, and we need to figure out what the
Right.
issue is. Everybody, I need to know that you know that I'm right. Right. Once you take the ego out of there, and now it's okay. You came to me for X,
Hmm.
Y, and Z. Let's figure out what we can do with X, Y, and Z. But we can't get to that until everybody come to that plateau. I know for me, if I get mad, I need to get quiet for a hot second, or I'm gonna say some stuff
Hmm.
that I'm not gonna necessarily be happy with saying. So
Right.
if you keep poking at me, you're gonna see the initial Elise and not the calm. We didn't
Yeah.
communicate and reasoned.
Yeah.
So and you have to know your partner. If they're that type of
Yeah.
person that needs that 1 or 2 hot minute break and come back, allow your partner, respect your partner in that sense, but
Yeah.
don't not come back to it. Like, hey, babe,
Right. Right.
hey, are we good? Are you good right now? Can we
Yeah.
start talking? Other than that, neither of you guys are going to be receptive to the conversation that y'all actually need to have.
Right.
I think,
That's true. And then I'm
which
looking
comes
at
back to
AJ
understanding.
Frank. Yes, it comes back to understanding. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at AJ Frank's comment, understanding that you're both passionate about your feelings and knowing how to communicate through them, taking the time to understand each other's point of view. Communication is key. It is. It is. It is. Um, on Facebook, yeah. Um, One of the things that while we're talking about forgiveness and communication and understanding, um, and almost going back to the initial conversation,
Uh-huh.
waiting on that perfect moment, time when you have everything right. So,
You're
some
gonna be
people,
waiting.
and right, and I'm using the phrase jump because it may be familiar to you from Steve Harvey's book, but um, some of us are waiting on the perfect moment, the perfect time when you have the money and all of that. But you'll be waiting um, because sometimes the journey is you creating your own moment. The journey is you figuring out, well, right now, even if I don't have the money to do what it is that I would like to do, but does it really cost me something to learn? We have
Mm-hmm.
YouTube University. You have people on social media that's giving you, their skills and everything for free.
Yeah.
Depending on how much time you have, you can learn how to do something. So that way you just saved yourself money. You don't have to pay someone else to do it. So I think that's a mentality that we get stuck in. Like we have to have everything ready. And
Yeah.
I remember I read this book and I've been trying to remember the name, but it was this guy at work and I would talk to him about just the stuff that I wanted to do. And I know that he was placed there for a season because not too long after I left the job, he left. And he gave me this book. And in this book, it had the creator of Nike, Starbucks, Michael Jordan, like all these brands and stuff that we see, and they all told their story in the books. Like of a lot of them, you know, didn't finish high school or thought they was going to college for this and end up going for something else. You know, started out of their car or out of their home, like whatever. But the point was they started. Start with what you have. Stop looking at what you don't have. What do I have around me? Who do I have around me that I can utilize, that I can, you know, um, if you want to be a financial advisor, look up some of these companies, try to get in, do some type of internship. If you have downtime, go on their, you know, their social media, learn these tips and tricks and stuff that they give, but stop waiting on the moment and create your own moment. Make the sacrifice. If what you want to do, you need an extra $200 a month, look at your bills right now, what you're spending money on. I
Yeah.
bet you have that 200 or close to it. If
Mm-hmm.
you start really, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
So you may spend 150 a month going out just to socialize or movies or stuff like that, but is your dream bigger than your right now? So are we willing
Mm-hmm.
to sacrifice and make those moments? So to that I say, create your own your own moments. Be bold enough to do it. If you're the odd one standing out in your crew, you could be the person that help, you know, change their mindset. But
Absolutely.
create your own moments and be willing to sacrifice for them. You can't ask other people to sacrifice if you're not willing to sacrifice for your own stuff.
Yeah,
So,
piggybacking off of that, where you said waiting for the right moment, going back to my introduction when I was saying, you know, happiness. I was like, oh, in order for me to be happy, I gotta be at this age. I gotta be doing this. I gotta be making this, and you know, trying to justify why I wasn't moving. And that's not. I just wasn't moving because I
mhm,
was using all of these excuses to not move me forward. I was simply, people are just scared. They're like, well, I don't know what's going on after that. You know, what if I do this and I fail? You know,
mhm,
they don't know because they haven't started, um,
right.
and they're too scared to find out what happens when they start, instead of just enjoying the journey and being, once again, present in the moment.
Yeah. And even when you fail, that's a learning lesson. So, like when I first started doing this, I was like, okay, I just got to get out there, get out there. And then the more I started doing, I was doing like 3 videos a day. I'm rearranging and doing. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not about to do these 3 videos a week because that's a lot of pressure. Like I'm, you know, working, going to school, you know, got family and all that. So I was like, wait a minute, it's my business. Let me create this the way that I see it. And
Yeah.
whoever is going to come in, they're going to come in when I'm available.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I do business with people that are in a different time zone. So am I willing to get up? And Lord knows I don't want to get up and be active, but I can be awake. But do I want to get up at 6 and 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning to meet an 8 o'clock time call on the East Coast? Am I gonna make that sacrifice for the stuff that I want to do?
Yeah.
And the answer is yeah, if I want it. Like I came, like I, if any of y'all remember, when I first started, I was like, okay, I need to get on a podcast, and then I need to get on the panel. I just had these, so the opportunity came. I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So that means I had to get up at 4 or something to make sure I was fully alert at five. At 5 o'clock in the morning. And I knocked that out before I went to work. So I was willing to make that sacrifice. The opportunity presented itself. Was I then gonna say, oh no, that's like too early? Like, you know, I really just need no, because how I see my business is somebody that's going to be in another country or another state that's going to be willing. I remember this lady said that just they had a client in a whole nother country where that person had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning just to be able to meet them at 9 o'clock in the morning. But it was worth the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So
What are you willing to
is it worth
sacrifice?
it? Exactly. And
I,
then
you know what?
um go ahead.
I feel like the right things, not necessarily all the things that you want to do, but the right things that you want to do, you figure out a way to motivate yourself to do it. You know, you didn't want to get up
Mm-hmm.
at 4 o'clock in the morning, but you know, you it was going to be a gain. It was going to be something that was going to
Right.
be beneficial to you. You gonna wake up at 5 o'clock to go to the club? Probably not. But
Right.
you wake up, you'll wake up for something that you really want to do.
Right. That's yes. Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see. Oh, and this is one. I was talking to someone, and as they were talking, I was just like, the timing is off. Like I just kept hearing like the timing is off. Um, the ability to do something, and know that you know you have a call, you have a purpose, and what that looks like and everything.
Mhm.
You being able to do that, and you having that calling, you having that purpose, you having, you know, the vision that you see for yourself must match the time and the season that it's for. Um, because you'll end up frustrating yourself if you don't know if you're trying to do something in the wrong timing.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is, um, literally, what I'm doing right now, after I finished a conference in 2011, I have it written in a notebook. It was like, okay, instead of me doing so many events, I'm gonna go into people's spaces, do presentations. I wrote all this stuff out, but I was not clear on when it was for. So I started getting frustrated when I was trying to work it. And it was like, what is this? We just really want you to do this. And I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that because I know I seen this.
Mhm.
So if you try to move too fast, you'll end up frustrating yourself and thinking that your gifting and your vision and your purpose is all wrong when it's right.
Yeah.
You're just out of time. You're just not in doing it in the right time. So to be able to do the background work and prepare yourself, whether you have to do, you know, more schooling, you know, whatever it is, get some training,
Mhm.
um, get your integrity together as a person. You may have some struggles.
We gotta talk about that one
You
too.
may.
We got we're gonna pin
So
that one too.
so timing is key. It syncs you up like this instead of you like I know this is right, but I'm trying to do it right now. But it's like, no, it's meant for you to really do this 2 years from now. So
Mhm.
you don't want to try to do something in the incorrect time and then frustrate yourself and then get tricked to thinking that it was never meant to be when it actually was.
Yeah. Yes. Pre- yes. I got tongue tied. Yes. I feel like that's just general. We like, well, I was gonna do this, but then you start thinking about, well, I didn't. What is it called? The gratification of it. You say you want to be a doctor,
Oh,
but you don't want to go through all the
instant,
doctors and
yeah,
all the
right,
training.
right,
But
instant
you know you want to be a
gratification,
doctor.
right.
What is it? Um, but yeah, back to that integrity. I
Uh-huh.
think we got to touch on that a little bit because I think that people in general, and I'm even saying myself once upon a time, you say you want to do something, but your integrity, or I'm gonna say your values are completely different than what you're doing or you want to do. You know, you say you want to be disciplined, but all your actions point completely
Right.
opposite to it. You know, you say you need somewhere to live, but then you ready to go party instead of saving up your money so you can get something. So you can get something. You know, where's your discipline? Where's your integrity for yourself at your self value for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Um, I'm the type of person, I watch a lot. So you could tell me whatever you want, but I'm literally watching what it is that you do because um you're known by the fruit that you produce. And so if you paint this big old story, but when I look at you, you always late. Anytime somebody talk about you, it's like a, oh, they come in. okay, like get ready to do this, or you're gonna have to do that, or um, I'm just big on how you show up. That's how you show up. That's how you're going to be perceived. And
Mhm.
so, some people you can trick, uh, not I, but integrity is key. Like you're, we're our own walking billboard.
Mhm.
So when someone says my name or you talk to someone about me, and then you go talk to someone, let's just say you talk to someone in my family about me, then you go talk to someone that I've been friends with for a while, then you go talk to a coworker about me, you go talk to a classmate about me, something that each one of them saying, it's going to connect,
Yeah.
and it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad or uplifting or something like that. So I
Yeah.
always say we're our own walking billboards. Ain't nobody about to be like, oh, she ratchet, she be out here lying to people, she can't be trusted. No, I do things in integrity. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to like it, you don't have to appreciate it, but I have to be true to who I am and what it is that I'm doing, because I don't want to have to lie in this area or mislead or educate people in this area, and then it helps me get so far, but the truth always comes out. So like, why would I turn it? It's not worth it for me.
Yeah.
So I just like being honest. I've learned throughout the years,
Mhm.
depending on who you're being honest with, and just trying to help out with integrity, there's a way to say it. um,
Yeah.
some people, you just got to be raw and very clear with it. um, but sometimes people don't know, especially if that's all you grew up around, you just doing what's in you.
Mhm.
So I'm very big on integrity. I watch people, and if I see some red flags and something like that, and if we close enough, I should be able to tell you. People say, tell me, we friends and we cool, we go back
But
such
you
and such. And
sure?
the moment you say something, the feelings come in and stuff like that. Um, and I actually want to share this. I thought about it, and she's watching, but um, somebody had posted something, and I just made an honest comment. And in that moment, it hurt their feelings, and so they started responding off of emotions. But
Mhm.
what I really truly appreciated from that is that someone else came in and said, this is where she's coming from when she says that. It's not
Mhm.
mean, it's not malicious. And then the person came back and said, um it's true, I just wasn't ready to hear that. But
Yeah.
I appreciated the fact that we all respected each other. We all covered it in love. And it all came down to, I wasn't ready to hear it. But even though I wasn't ready to hear it, doesn't mean that it's not true. And because they love and they care about me, they was just saying this. And they
Yeah.
made sure that they covered it in love. It wasn't disrespect. It wasn't evilness. It wasn't joking. So it's a difference when you just want to look out for someone and just help them win.
Yeah.
And sometimes our feelings do get in the way of that. But I just thought about that the other day. I was like, that was beautiful.
Mhm. That reminds me. Me and my husband was talking, and he had said something like mean. It wasn't mean. It was just how it was worded. And he was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that." I said, "Don't don't apologize. I needed to hear it. I'm gonna cry.
Hmm.
Cause it hurt me, but I need it.
Hmm.
I need you to do that for
Right.
me." And he was like, "It was that moment. I know you matured." Because we always get in our feelings. You're a human
Yeah,
being. You're gonna have emotions, and you're okay to have emotions. But you gotta have some type of rationality to it too.
exactly. Exactly. That was good.
Yeah.
Um, did you have another question or comment somebody posted?
Yeah, let me remember it because I have my notes, but they're in the kitchen. I don't want to just leave the room right now.
Okay.
She said, "When do you put yourself first? when do you put yourself first after? Oh, what is that? It was really good too. You help a lot of people. When do you put yourself first, for lack of words, or something a little better than that? But she's meaning like, when do you say no more? Like, I can't help y'all because y'all taking away from my cup, and I'm on E.
Right.
I need to refill my water. So
Yeah.
she was saying, when is it time? And I think when you feel like you don't have nothing to give, like you're not finding joy in talking to people, if you don't find joy in giving somebody what is already in you, you feel drained all the time. And I think that's the time where you have to be like, you know what, I know you're going through something right now, but I gotta step away so I can be present for you and myself.
Yeah. That an ex boyfriend actually helped me with
Mm.
that because um how I grew up, I didn't have a choice. It was just, this is what you're going to do. And anytime I went against that, I was um, cussed out. I was, like as if I was doing something bad. It's like, hey, like, I'm just trying to go look for a job. Like, um, but about, when was we dating? I say between the 24 and 25. That was the first guy that actually seen how I extended myself to people. And so what no one's seen, he's seen. He's seen me getting up at 5 and 6 to, help other people with their kids and their responsibilities. He would see me come back and be exhausted and can't get up for work. And he would see me do this and not really, what are they doing in return type stuff. And
Mhm.
so after him watching this for a while, I remember it's Christmas. He was like, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you don't come back to this house with nothing, I'm going off on everybody in the family. I'm going off. And in my head, I was like, oh, but we don't even do Christmas like like we don't buy each other gifts. The kids, yeah. And so I was like, oh my God, because he's really like serious. And
Mhm.
so when I go, I actually got gifts. Like my sister had bought me some stuff, my mom had got me some stuff. I was like, oh Jesus, because he was gonna go off on people. And but he helped me do that. He helped me say no because I felt like I had to do it, although it was it wasn't beneficial for me, meaning, I was not able to get up for work and do stuff, and I would be stressed and, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. And so it took someone out looking in to say, at least while you're with me, you're not about to extend yourself like that, because I'm dealing with all the residue of that.
Yeah.
Um
Can I
so
cut
from
you off
that
for 5
point, I
seconds?
was just like, oh yeah.
For that, I got a story about Calandra, our cousin.
Okay.
She's known in the family of saying yes to everything, right? Calandra, can you go get
Hmm.
me this? Calandra, can you go get me that? Calandra, go get this, right? And I'm like, no, 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 right? Finally, she's like, man, I'm tired of everybody like thinking I'm just say yes all the time, and I'm like, start saying no. Respectively start saying no. But how can you just say
Right.
no? What if they don't like you? I'm all like, you gonna get tired of saying yes to everything, right? So the
Yeah.
first time she said no, everybody like, oh, okay. They didn't know how to accept it, but she
Right.
started like feeling better because she's like, I can say yes when I want to. I can say no when I want
Right.
to.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't care about y'all. I care about myself
Right.
too. So you just
Yeah.
made me think of that right now. But my bad, keep
Yeah.
going.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, you just have to come to it from that moment. Like it took someone to teach me that, but from that moment, it was just like, no, if that doesn't, I no, I can't do that. That doesn't work with my schedule, or and if I want to, or I feel like I can accommodate, then let me tell you when I can accommodate you. And that also goes along with boundaries. Sometimes that bleeds over because then people look at you like you have no boundaries. They forget that you too need a break. They forget that you too have feelings. They forget that you too. So um, that goes taking time for yourself. Yes, you have to learn how to say no.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to. It, sometimes depending on who you are interacting with, you have to say it and mean it.
Yeah.
Like, I said no, and I mean that. And when I can, I will get back to you. Because again, some people are not aware of boundaries. Some people didn't grow up with boundaries. Some people don't know what boundaries are. And um, if you don't know, you don't know. But when you do know, um, you start setting them up for yourself and you start teaching people how to treat you based off
Absolutely.
what's beneficial for you, not the culture and how you grew up and all that. You
Mhm.
teach people how to treat you because people only do what you allow them to do. So when do you take time for yourself after you didn't give time to everybody else? Right now.
Right now.
Like right now, after work, can't nobody call me. When I get off work, that is my time to, if I want to act like I'm auditioning for American Idol, if that's, I want to take that 45 minutes to an hour and pray, if I want to take that 45 minutes to an hour and just
It's my
daydream, if I
time.
just want to woosah, that is my time. Do not call me with no foolishness. I'm not answering. I'm not responding to no text. That's my time. And
Mm-hmm.
so therefore I had my time. So when I walk into the house, I know I'm going into mommy and wife and all that. I can give y'all time because I've had my time. And then when y'all sleep again, it's my time again. So I may not respond to your text, even though I responded 5 minutes ago. I may disappear because now I'm on my time.
Yeah. Because I feel like if I don't get my time, then I'm a whole different
It's a
person.
wrap.
Because I swear, at 8 o'clock, when my kids go to bed, usually 8 or 9. 8 o'clock, if they come out the bed asking me for something, I'm like, what? This is not your
Right.
time. Go
It's
back
your
in
time.
bed. I took care of you all day. Okay, I'm not nice
Right.
mom no more. I am Elise. I'm no, don't talk to me. Go do what you
Right.
need to do up in that room. Go to sleep. Okay. Are you dying? No. All right then. I'm
Right.
gonna go to sleep. And I think you
I,
started your kids started accepting it too, because from
mm-hmm.
early on,
Yeah.
Wayne, I used to be in the bathroom doing my makeup back when I worked for makeup every day. Since birth, he watched me put on my makeup. So when he come in the bathroom, he see me doing something. He's like, "Oh, mom, I'm gonna leave out. You in the bathroom? You probably getting ready for something. I don't need anything." And he'll walk
Mm-hmm.
away. I set that boundary for him.
Uh-huh.
Or I can like, you know what, Wayne? No, you
Yeah.
can come in. But that gives him
Right.
the boundary to asking me, can he come into my space
Right.
and acknowledging that there is a boundary right there. And it starts
Yes.
it can start small, small kid, or it can start as a person that's getting to know you as an adult. There's no age limit to setting a boundary with somebody.
Right. Yes. And I'm gonna segue into self-care, but also when you just said even with the kids. So Nyla, she'll be 5 in May. Um, so when did I do this? 2017. So she mimics me now. She be like, "Oh, I'm doing a video. Hey, everybody, all that." But she knows if mommy has her office door closed, I can't go in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she knows. Like now, she tell me on Tuesdays you do your videos. I'm like, yeah. Like so, she already knows, and she has her routine. She does,
Yeah.
while I'm doing it. So you can, if you could teach if we could teach 2, 3, and 4 year olds,
And work at YouTube. You can teach him a
like
lot of stuff.
we can also take the time out just to let those that if they care about us, they respect our time. So um, I'm gonna segue that into self care,
Yes.
learning to have healthy boundaries. Saying no is liberating.
Yes.
It is freeing.
Mhm.
You are obligated to take care of who you're obligated to. Everyone else outside of that should just appreciate the fact that you consider them enough to assist, help, show up, etc.
Yeah.
Um, self-care is very huge. I being younger, I never heard about it as much as I am as the older I got. Um, and I'm talking about back in back in the 20s and stuff. Our self-care was like, girl, we're about to go get our nails and our feet done.
Mhm.
That was
You
our
know,
self-care. Uh,
I learned self care early
you know,
on, believe it or not, by my
okay,
mom. She would, so
okay,
one of my favorite artists now is Sade. My mom would clean the house,
okay.
right? She would play Sade. She would cook, and she would just, the whole energy of the house went down. You know that it was time to relax.
Hmm.
So
Right.
this was my segue into self care. You know, taking care of
Hmm.
um family, you, and then she'll put, read us a bedtime story. She'll put us to bed, and then we'll, of course,
Uh-huh.
we ain't going to bed. We listen to what she talking about on the other end of the door, but she let us know that it was her time. It was
Uh-huh.
her taking care of herself after she did everything. So early on, I knew self care was important, but it started
Okay.
resonating with me because I went back to my basics. Like, okay, I remember my mom playing music. I play music every day of my life, right? Because it takes me back to that relaxing moment. I think self care is all about
Okay.
relaxing. I want to get to this
Hmm.
point in my day where I'm relaxed. If I'm relaxed, I'm self caring. I'm doing self caring. So even if it's 5 minutes, that's still a self care. I feel like
Hmm.
people think, like you were saying, going to get your nails done, going taking time outside, like that one moment, maybe once a month, I go get my nails done. That's called self care. That's not called self care.
Hmm.
That's that's upkeep. I'm gonna call that upkeep. You
Right.
upkeeping your body,
Uh-huh.
and it's a little bit of self care, but you gotta do it every day. It's self care is every day. It's not one moment out of 1,000.
Right. It is daily, and what I sometimes it's good just to get out of your environment.
Yeah.
Um, so I actually take that back. In my 20s, I didn't know what I was doing then. But if you knew me in my 20s, I was always renting cars and staying at somebody's hotel. I just became obsessed with hotels, nice hotels. And literally, I started making, and I wasn't doing it like, on a regular basis, but I had different times throughout the year. I would just go drive down to Palm Springs and just be peace, have peace,
Yeah.
stay at a nice hotel and just they'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm chilling. Like I wasn't out there turning up or nothing. I
Yeah.
just,
Were
I
you by
just, this,
yourself?
um, I was by myself
Yeah.
and I would just be out there and just enjoying. I had learned the area so well, I knew what stores to go to and who to
Hmm.
talk to, and I just was comfortable out there. It was peace, it was serenity, it was away from my environment. So it's not like I was gonna go to their mall or something and run into people that I know. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
just good to get out of your, go 4 cities over, somewhere you really don't go. Um, but
Do you do you say
um
that ties
now,
into do you say that ties into being comfortable with yourself, and you can go somewhere without having a whole crowd?
yeah. And because I used, I was like, I was popular, but I didn't need the crowd.
Yeah.
So I remember like when it started getting like too chaotic, I would be still chilling around everybody, but I would be literally
No.
around everybody, but not messing with nobody.
Yeah.
So I've always been comfortable being by myself and with my own thoughts. And,
Hmm.
just I've always been a daydreamer.
Yeah.
Um, and because, you know, I feel like I grew up so fast in life.
Hmm.
Because sometimes when I think back, I'm like, girl, you was like 10. But in my head, I'm like a teenager or
I felt
something.
15. I felt
So
16.
Right. So I learned to just be comfortable with myself and to say that I remember the first time I went to the mall by myself. I was in seventh grade. There's like, you're going to the mall by yourself? I was like,
Yes.
yeah. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get on this bus and go to the mall. I felt like an adult. Like, that was so freeing. Um, but a lot of times people don't even want to do stuff by themselves. They feel like they always need somebody. And
Hmm.
you don't, you would never discover the beauty and the strength that is in within you just
Yeah.
getting to know yourself. So self-care, like Elise mentioned, is daily. It's if it's 5 peaceful minutes that you just got to be able to inhale and exhale and really know that you're breathing and that you're calming yourself. If it's, you know what, right now I feel like listening to your body. Right now my body is saying I really need to rest. I really need to lay down. Let me take care of my body because that's part of self-care.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, some people do yoga and mindfulness, and I've been, exposed to that and experienced some of that, but just it's more than just the nail shop and it's more than just getting a massage. You have to get out of the four walls to really just look into everything that goes with self-care.
Yeah. And I think it opens up your mind too to maybe you're in a rut with something. A self care leads to other gates
Mm-hmm.
opening within your life. You know, maybe it's something you've been thinking about working on, and since you have so much going on, you haven't taken the time to just listen to yourself or do something regarding
Right.
you. You know, you didn't get that opportunity to have it resonate with you, to sit on you. To maybe
Mm-hmm.
you don't get to pray a lot. You pray, and that's that one care moment of the day that you might have had, that idea you was thinking about all day can finally be manifested into something. You know, I think it starts,
Right,
everything starts
right.
with self-care. Yeah.
That's true. Um, and from that, the last thing that I want to touch on is, and self care will really help with that, is getting clear. Um,
Yeah.
Getting clear about who you are, what it is that you want, what it is that you need, what it is that you desire, and how you're going to obtain that. So it's one thing to say, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is what I desire. But then the other part of that is, okay, this is what I need, and how I'm going to get it is by this. This is what I desire. How am I going to manifest this desire into, a reality is by doing this.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why I say it ties into self care because sometimes we can be so busy or have so many people around us pulling on our thoughts, pulling on our energy, pulling on our emotions that it's actually negative. Like it's taking us away to be able to focus on us. Because
Yeah.
if we're no good, then the things and people that are attached and associated with us is no good. So right now, I'm it starts in the mind. So right now, I'm getting clear in my mind what I want to manifest physically regarding health. And it's easy to just fall off. Life happens, all of that. But in my mind, I have to make sure that it shifts and it changes so that once it starts to manifest, the two are in sync.
Yeah.
And so I have to get clear about that. So I've gotten some books, I've shared some information, gotten books like read up on this, and I actually was reading up on some stuff. I I never knew it was a form of eczema, but I had this condition where if I just get too hot, I itch really, really bad. Like it's bad. And so one day was out, my daughter was like, "Mommy, I'm itching, I'm itching." And I was like, "Oh my God, please don't let her have what I have." So I take her to the doctor, and luckily he was familiar with it because his kids have it. He said this is actually a form of eczema. So I know she had eczema because when she was a baby, she broke out. but he said it's something missing in the bloodstream that would block that. You guys don't have it. So I was like, all my life, I thought I was crazy. I thought, because my parents would take me to the doctors on a regular basis. And so, and then extreme anemic. And so anyone that knows me, all I literally used to eat was corn and chicken strips. And so when you have an iron deficiency, you want to make sure, at least if you're going to do it the natural way, you get some greens and stuff. So I call myself like mixing the broccoli with corn and stuff like that. But in reality, the corn blocks the nutrients from the broccoli. So reading is fundamental. So now I'm educating myself by reading, books and getting and really listening to people that practice and they do this and this is what they know. Because now it's just not for me. I have a responsibility to my child that has the same thing that I have.
Yeah.
So, but getting clear in whatever area that you need to get clear in, whether it's with your emotions, whether it's with certain relationships that you have and you feel like they're off balance, you give more than you receive, and vice versa. Get clear about this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what I desire, and to get this, this is what I need to do. What does the work look like for me to obtain this? So, what are your thoughts on getting clear?
Yeah. Getting clear, I think, goes hand in hand with finding a reason why you're doing it. If you don't know why, you don't get clarity about it. You don't know why you're doing what you're doing, why you're getting up in the morning, and you just going through
Right.
life, and just in emotion. You don't have any real reason
Right.
why to get to that goal that you want to get to. You know, why do you want to do it? Because if somebody asks you, this is what I stand for. You know, you can really talk to it, and you can
Exactly.
really have that self gratification. I keep saying gratification tonight, but gratification about it. So absolutely, clarity, first step to mapping out your goals or mapping out what you want in life. And then once you get that clarity, I think from there you just start attacking it one by one. This is what I'm gonna do. This is bam, bam, bam. Like all this stuff just starts opening up for you just because you got clear and you know where to go.
Exactly.
Of course you're gonna have setbacks, but you're gonna get pushed through because okay, well, I'm not at my end goal. I might have to turn left to go right or make right. You know, you still have to change the position, but you're gonna still end up at your end result. So yeah, in a nutshell, clarity is one of the most important things to have, necessary for you.
Yeah, I'm reading Janae's comment. Yes, this year I told myself I'm going to make myself very uncomfortable so I can grow and I can have, so I can grow and I have already started to see the results. Yes, uncomfortable is key because when you stay in your comfort zone, you get stagnant. It's hard to grow. You have the same people strive to achieve more. And
Elise dropped off. We'll get her back in. If you strive to achieve more, have more, and do more,
have to a lot of times change the people that you interact with, the people that you thought was going to be there until the end. It's a lot of things that come along with being uncomfortable to reposition and shift yourself. So yeah, I've gotten very comfortable being uncomfortable and expecting the unexpected, putting myself in environments where it's like I look like I belong here, but this is totally over my head, but I'm going to learn something that I need to learn to be able to allow me to get to the step in the places that I want to be. And sometimes we're scared to do that. And at times we may not even know why. And that's why going back to clarity, once you get clear, you're going to lose some friendships. Some dynamics of friendships are going to change. Even, and that's, within and outside of family. What family is family. So if, y'all not friends, it's just things change. Within life and time, you should get better, you know? you What I'm doing right now and what I have already accomplished and the things that I want to accomplish, I want my daughter to exceed that. I want her to outdo that, because right now this is just a foundation that I'm setting that would already be structured and built for her. So all she has to do is keep it going. And a lot of times I see within the different generations, because that is something new and foreign to those generations before us, it comes off sometime as disrespect, or they don't know how to let you go so that you can grow. And that's where you have to, like I said, sometimes say no and make sure that they mean it. You're not being disrespectful or anything like that. But you have a right to let people know, this is what I will accept, this is what I will not accept. And that it just is what it is. Yes, ma'am, we should always evolve and want to be better for our children. Exactly. And if we listen closely, our kids teach us. They're just like we was here for a reason for our parents. Kids teach you. Point blank, period. They teach you. And if you let them, many times my daughter has just randomly asked me a question that really checked me so hard in my spirit. Like, oh, yeah, let me be a little bit more mindful about that. Let me respect how she feeling and all of that. So, not being able to have a voice, when we were kids, you just do as you're told. The only people that go through in the house is mama and daddy. That generation didn't understand, if mama and daddy go through, then we go through too. So, we have feelings and emotions about things. Bam. And we have Elise back. Emotions about things that we have never been able to express since we were small, and it goes into our adulthood, and now we're trying to figure out why we have this way, and it goes back to childhood. So the goal is always to grow. And I don't know anybody that is comfortable and that was able to build an empire through death. So, anybody else that is live, do you have any other comments, questions that you may have? Or throwing things into me? At least try to mute and unmute. Okay, she's gonna fix that. But so yeah, that you're able to grow. Oh, it's still echoing right now? Oh, okay. So yeah, I like what you said about making yourself uncomfortable so that you can grow. And just in general, with any journey where you're willing to do better, just understand that those that are around us, um, sometimes when you do better, some people may think, oh, that's going to force me to have to come up and I'm not ready to come up. So before her light shine any brighter, let me try to, dim it down. Let me tell her this, let me tell her that. And sometimes they're doing it out of pure, um, um, I want to say, pure ignorance, like they know what they're doing, but sometimes it could be because they're fearful and they're scared. Nobody ever taught them how to go for their dreams and their goals, and that it's okay to want to excel, not just be, average, but to be above average. So that's good. So just be mindful of the more you do that, who is in your circle and how they respond and react to you. That's going to be key. Let's see if this works. Oh. Okay, I was trying to add her back in. Yes, I'm being woke. And like I said, when we first started, I was talking about Nipsey. And it's not that, I have any connection with him. In that moment, it just was it was just my cap to everything that's just been going on the past few years. In that moment, it was just like, man, like it's just never going to stop. I feel like literally like we have just warped and gone back in time to when for some of us, our great grandparents were living. It's just not as bad because, our generation is different. You're just not about to take us somewhere and, try to enslave us. But it's just the day and age that we're living in. You could totally tell that we're going backwards. So let me see if I can bring her on.
We're gonna see if this connection works. With Elise coming back on. Luckily, it just happened at the end of the video. We love technology, but sometimes it's not our friend.
Talk, the social media edition. My co-host was Elise. If you didn't catch everything, you can catch the replay. And then in this video or any of the other posts, you can go ahead and continue to post your responses, your comments, any questions that you want us to answer or talk about live. Part 2 is going to be done this Sunday at 4:00. So we will be posting about that. So this is part 1. Thank you guys for joining. Like, share, comment this video. And just know that you're not the only one. There's someone that can identify with your story. Part 2, we may have some specific things we want to discuss, but it really is just open discussion. So we're getting these questions and comments from people that's just been posting them or asking us directly. And we're just talking about them in addition to just some of the things we, want to discuss. So, just know that even if you're having a hard day and it's just emotional, allow those emotions to just come out and flow. Those that don't like to cry or been taught that when you cry is weak. Actually, when you cry is strength. I know a lot of people can agree to crying has kept you from beating up somebody because you got that angry. You shed some tears. But crying is liberating, it's freeing, it's healing. And again, we all go through and process differently. but we are one another. We all have a story that could connect to another woman or young lady. So next, part 2 on Sunday, if you know some young ladies, bring them in, share this video with them, their moms, and just be ready to let's talk about it. And the reason I always put it in caps, if you're wondering, it is whatever it is that you may be going through. Let's talk about parenting. There's a right and wrong way to parent, and some things we weren't taught growing up. I find parenting to be so difficult. Yes, we can definitely touch on that because, yeah, that is true. That's true. I just got some enlightenment about that last week in reference to how we parent, especially in our culture. So we can definitely talk about that. And any other topics that you all may have. But we thank you for joining us for part 1 on tonight, part 2, the 7th, at 4 p.m. Like, share, comment this video and any of the posts. And we will see y'all in a couple of days. Ladies, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.